Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. You alone do we seek, who we submit ourselves as Muslims. There is none like you, and no other deity worthy of worship except you, O Allah. You sent down the glorious Quran through the angel Jibril, alayhi salam, to Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, the last messenger and prophet, sent with a message for humanity. And it is our duty as Muslims to spread the universal message of unity to humanity as best as we can. Some ask why we are here. What is our purpose? We are here because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Creator, destined us to be here. And our purpose is to obey, worship, and believe in Him. That is our test. And our test is for us only. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knows the results of our test from our deeds, for which we will be judged on a day of judgment. Some would argue that it does not seem fair that God will be the one to judge us. But would you want mankind to judge you on the day of all days? I mean, really, the same species that vote on American Idol and America's Got Talent? God has to be the one to judge us, for He is witness to all of our actions. He knows our hearts. He knows what our intentions are, regardless of if we carried out the deed intentionally or not. And we will be called on the day of judgment to answer for our deeds. Only the Creator of the heavens and the earth can dispense true judgment. He knows the true intentions and actions of which the deeds were done. And on that day, true judgment will be carried out. Sometimes my friends ask me to keep them in my prayers, knowing that we strive to make our 5 daily prayers. These friends of mine are often not Muslim. One of my mom's friends in the past, who was openly Catholic, asked my mom to pray for her. These are people who know us to be Muslim. It's often confusing to hear people criticize Muslims overall, but when we make personal connections with them, the veil drops and we're seen as people. In our dialogue with people, when the subject turns to religion, I am sure that my Muslim brothers and sisters state that the one true God that we worship is the same God that is often spoken of in the Bible and in the Torah. In my experience, sometimes this revelation is met with skepticism because I'm reading their facial expressions as, how is that possible? Let us remember that Islam is the last of the 3 monotheistic religions. First, there was Judaism, then Christianity, and then Islam. All 3 preaching and expressing that there is only one God, the source. In the past, I have been asked to describe what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks like, and that is impossible. For I do not know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks like. He is not mortal flesh like us, His creation. And the best that I can do is to describe Him in ways He has revealed Himself to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He is the first and the last, the manifest and the unseen, and He has full knowledge of all things. Surah 57, Ayat 3. No mortal eyes can see Him, but He can see all eyes. He is all kind and all aware. Surah 6, Ayah 103. It is He who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the heaven and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth, and He is full of wisdom and knowledge. Surah 43, Ayat 84. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, His creation, to understand Him and ponder His creation. He wants us to succeed, but He has given us free will to make our own decisions. And when wanting to know who He is, He has 99 attributes to reflect and get to know who He is. Here are some. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, the most gracious, the most merciful, the bestower of mercy. Al-Malik, the king and owner of dominion. Al-Qudus, the absolute pure. Al-Aziz, the almighty. As-Sami, the all-hearing. Al-Basir, the all-seeing. Ash-Shakur, the most appreciative. Al-Ba'ith, the resurrector, the raiser of the dead. Ash-Shahid, the all and ever witness. An-Nur, the light, the illuminator. In trying to describe and quantify to my non-Muslim friends who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, I myself am mystified and overwhelmed. The Creator whom I worship, His majesty is so vast. It is humbling upon reflection. For instance, we believe as Muslims that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Lord of the worlds, plural. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 7 heavens, and the distance between each heaven is 500 years. 500 years. 500. When we look up at the sky, that is the first heaven. He is the one who created 7 heavens, one above the other. You will never see any imperfection in the creation of the most compassionate. So look again. Do you see any flaws? Then look again and again. Your sight will return frustrated and weary. And indeed, we adorn the lowest heaven with stars like lamps. Surah 67, Ayah 3 through 5. Islam is about completion. So if there are 7 heavens, then there are also 7 hells. The distance between the first hell and the second hell, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and I have no intention of trying to find out. You think it's hot now on earth? Hell is 700 times hotter and unrelenting. Those who disbelieve in their Lord will suffer the punishment of hell. What an evil destination. When they are tossed into it, they will hear its roaring as it boils over, almost bursting in fury. Every time a group is cast into it, its keepers will ask them, "Did a warner not come to you?" Surah 67, Ayah 6 through 8. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not experience life on earth the same as His creation. He is the possessor and owner of time and space. He is time and space. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for His creation to be successful. He wants us to serve only Him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independent and does not need our worship. And that is our choice because of our free will, limited as it is given. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
4 to the 5th, 5th to the 6th, 6th to the 7th. Every time it will take 500 years. After the 7 heavens, after this you have the kursi of Allah, you have the chair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know these 7 heavens that we've just talked about? In comparison to the kursi of Allah, they're non-existent. They're meaningless. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given an example in a hadith just to give us a little bit of understanding with regards to the 7 heavens in comparison to the kursi of Allah. Take a ring from your finger, take it off, the small ring that you have, and place it, let's say, in a desert, the Sahara Desert. It's the biggest desert in the world. You know that ring that we take off from our fingers and place it in the Sahara Desert? What comparison is in between the ring and the Sahara Desert? Nothing. The 7 heavens is the ring, and the kursi of Allah is the Sahara Desert. After the kursi of Allah, you have the arsh of Allah. وَكَانَ أَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ. You have the arsh of Allah. Again, Rasulullah has explained, so just so that we can understand. Take the ring, place it in the desert. This time, the ring is the kursi, and the arsh is the desert. What is the kursi in comparison to the arsh of Allah? Nothing. Then you have angels which carry the arsh of Allah. Their heads are in the seventh heaven and their feet are in the lowest earth. My friends, then you have the Lord of the arsh and kursi. لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار وهو اللطيف الخبير. He is beyond the size of Allah, who Allah is, what Allah is. The greatness of Allah is beyond the comprehension of my little mind. This is the being that you and I are messing with.
The most mentioned prophet in the Quran is Musa, Moses, and the only prophet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to directly. Musa, in his natural curiosity, wanted to look upon the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa that he could not look at him directly. Musa was adamant. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa that he will reveal himself to the mountain. And if the mountain could withstand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he will reveal himself to Musa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed himself to the mountain. The mountain crumbled, and Musa himself fainted, looking at the mountain crumbling around him. Allah, there is no God but He, the living, the self-subsisting, eternal. No slumber can seize Him, nor sleep. His are all things in the heavens and on earth. Who is there that can intercede in His presence except as He permits? He knows what appears to His creatures as before or after or behind them, and they shall not understand any of His knowledge except as He wills. His throne does extend over the heavens and the earth, and He feels no fatigue in guarding and preserving them, for He is the Most High, the Supreme, in glory. Surah 2, Ayat 255. Sadaqallahu Azim, surely Allah speaks the truth. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Conversation Piece Podcast. I am your humble host, Akila, requesting that you join me again. So, until then, be safe, love and value yourself so that you can love and value others. I bid you adieu with the greeting, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you.